May 6th today. It's a beautiful day for beekeeping, finally. It's our first nice Saturday all year, it seems. The work for today is general inspections for swarming, seeing if they need another super, and then pulling back our strongest colonies. 2 weeks ago, we had gone through and equalized everybody back to 6 frames of capped brood, or capped and open brood. Unfortunately, that video was no good because there was lots of wind, there was a thunderstorm rolling in, so I had to scrap that one. But yeah, 2 weeks ago, we equalized them to about 6 frames of capped brood across the entire operation. Last week, we came through and dropped supers on most colonies just to give them more room for bee space. We don't really have much of a flow on, although there is some coming in right now.
And it was a rainy day, so that's all we could really do.
It's all we could really do on a rainy day, so we took the time to go put space on them. And that may have actually worked out because this entire week was rainy and cold and there wasn't a lot of flying days, so having that extra space in there probably helped prevent some swarming. We'll see when we get in how bad we have it today.
It shouldn't be. The nukes were fairly small and they had plenty of space, but we'll find out.
They had half a deep above them, so I think we're fine.
Half a deep and a super.
We'll see. Bees don't always follow our plans. The other thing we're going to do today, the colonies that came through is overwintered deeps. Although we equalize them back to the same amount of capped brood, they have quite a few more bees in them, so they're growing faster because of that. And I think they will have pulled ahead of the overwintered nukes at this point. So today we're going to go through all of those overwintered deep colonies and likely pull 1 or 2 frames of capped brood out of them just to push them back a little bit. We don't anticipate the peak of our flow for another 7 to 10 days. So I just want to pull them back a little and keep them from swarming here in the immediate future and make some splits out of it. Something new we're trying this year is this nuke tray, and we'll show you that in more detail now. Well, this year we're trying something a little bit differently with our nuke splits. Last year when we made them, we had to put them directly into the nuke boxes and then put the nuke boxes onto bottom boards and then screen the entrances to those bottom boards. And then ratchet strapped each
each
setup individually.
And that worked, but then at the end of the day you had to carry a full deep of bees and wood and comb around. It just was not fun.
And if anything were shifted and the screen came off the entrance, they would get out.
Yeah, and friends don't let friends lift deeps, and that was about a deep of bees and comb. So this year what we're trying to do is we're going to, as we make the splits, we're going to set them on this rack here that's can't slide off the ends and they have plenty of ventilation. And as they're complete, we'll drop an inner cover on them, which is screened and has the feeder hole plugged. And then when that's all said and done, when we have a full rack, we will ratchet strap them together.
We have these eye bolts on each end that we can run a ratchet strap up over, and we'll drop a board on top here between the inner covers and the ratchet strap as well to help keep down pressure on everything. It should be nicer. We can just put individual nukes up in here. They have plenty of ventilation. Our concern is with this screen getting bowed down a little, so we do have some cross members in here.
I don't think it's going to be a problem.
We're not sure how much the bees are going to want to run in between the nukes there.
First time using it.
First time trying it. You can see there is a little bit of a gap there, enough for a bee to get through.
If they really try.
If they want to. We'll see. And then when we get to where we're going, we can just back right up to our hive setups, or our hive stands, and then transfer these onto their actual bottom boards at that time.
So set up the bottom boards and move them one light box at a time.
Yeah. This is better than using like transfer boxes, like individual transfer nuke boxes, because we only have to handle the frames once this way. So yeah, we'll see how it works out, and you can come along for the ride. So we've gone through most of this yard already, and we actually are seeing some variety in the strength of colonies, which is interesting given the fact we equalized them 2 weeks ago. We're seeing some that are 10 to 12 frames of bees, and others that are 18 to 20 frames of bees. Maybe not quite that strong. In any case, we see some that are not strong enough to produce us a honey crop out of 2 deeps this year, given the fact that we expect our honey flow so soon.
Like this one's too small.
This one's too small. You can see it's got, what, 4 frames down there maybe, and 4 or 5 frames on the top. So we're making the decision on the fly here to drop these that are weaker back into a single. We're going to slap an excluder on them and run them kind of like we did last year. Just run them as a single through the honey flow and probably drop a second deep on them after the honey flow, late May, early June.
Carbospore ring and to give us frames of brood to split from.
Yep. It's unfortunate. It's a lot of work to get them up into the second deeps, but we have to be pragmatic about what we actually have.
We work to get them up, and then we work to get them back down.
now that that's done, this colony has gone from a weak little guy that just costs us money to something that I'm actually excited about. This is a overwintered deep colony that is quite strong, and we're going to pull a split out of it. Well, we'll get down into it and see what we see, but the plan is to find 2 nice worker brood frames and make a split with the frame of resources that we have left over from winter dead outs. So yeah, you can see there, got plenty of bees, bee density's high. If we don't do something before the main flow hits, they're going to get bored and decide to go for a walk.
They might have already. I don't know, we have to crack this box here.
See, do our peek check. See if we see any peanuts in here. Looks good.
Looks clean, yeah. See if I take 5 and 6 look like capped worker brood.
So this is not a full cut down split, as some people call it. We're just taking a maintenance split, really.
Maybe it's a mistake, maybe not. It's the first time we're trying it. But we know from 2 years ago when we were managing hives similarly to this, that we lost a lot of hives right before the flow because we thought, oh, we don't need to do anything.
The flow will keep them in the box.
The flow will keep, yeah.
And we lost them like the week before the flow. So rather than do that, we're going to try just pulling them back
yeah.
a little bit.
Just a touch.
Now the risk here is that we move the queen, so we're trying our best to find her.
Thoroughly check the frames. We're not going to find her. But
we're not taking the time to go find her in that big box, but thoroughly double check every frame that we use. It's an excellent split frame. Your next one could even be partial with that good of a first one. Into the box. Find another one.
There's 2 good ones here, I think.
Look at how many foragers are stacked up here.
Strong colony. Dude, if we get a decent flow, this colony is going to stack honey. So that's all wet. And that's why we're splitting this, because this colony is strong.
Good chance they won't even notice this. That's fine.
I got a couple of cups, but there's nothing in them. Okay, this is we have a halfway frame and a really good one, so we'll move that many bees and that much brood over and call it good.
Let's check this guy out. Nope. I don't see a queen on there.
There's no reason for her to be on here. I'm going to walk this up and come back with 2 brood frames. Place that.
Alright, so it's just as easy as to get to the truck, set it on, done. No ratchets, no
Which side did I have the feed on? Feeds on that side.
no ratchets, no bottom boards, no picking up of deeps. We'll see. Now we should have had these prepared.
But we weren't thinking.
We weren't thinking, but yeah, we're just going to put drawn combs back in there. So it's really not going to be much of a pullback on these. The queen will jump right on those frames.
They're not even going to notice it. Well, hopefully they notice it enough that they don't swamp.
We're not trying to pull them back extremely hard. We're really only trying to get a week out of this.
Yeah, the flow's in a week to 10 days, we think.
Since we know everything.
Yeah, since we know everything.
Our guess is week to 10 days, so.
Everything's running early this spring, but the stuff that bloomed a week to 10 days before black locust started blooming this week.
Yeah, in previous years, the stuff like honeysuckle bloomed a week to 10 days before black locust, and honeysuckle just started blooming, so that's that. We're going to do that to most of our overwintered colonies. Look at those bees just condensed.
Oh! We found home!
Wham! Up and in. One little issue we found with this, we have 3 splits in here, it'd be the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th box. And we started to notice some bees flying around this whole setup. and we found they were getting into this box and then flying out. So we just put a plug in that to keep them in a box. Just a little issue with it. I don't think the drift is too major, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. Yeah, with the cross members we have in there, they can get between these two boxes and those two boxes and so on.
Oh, it's a heavy box.
This colony we had found swarm cells in previously that we just destroyed in an attempt to pull them back until today when we have queen cells of our own available.
It's usually not a good idea to try to just knock queen cells down. It usually doesn't work, but might be
here's one.
Yep, capped queen cell right there.
That's what they'll look like, and there's a couple more well on the way. And there's a few up in here, and those would all be wet.
We'll have to go through and check every frame in this box probably.
Yeah, we have to do a full split out of this one.
Take 2 frames.
But yeah, just to show you, that's what it would look like when you find swarming. It's pretty hard to miss. So with this swarming colony, we're actually trying something maybe unorthodox. We went through and found the queen and put her in a split with 2 frames of cap brood. She's going to move to another yard and get put into a deep pretty shortly. The remaining 2 deeps we equalized in between that deep and that deep. Made sure there's queen cells in both. We happen to really like this queen. She's excellent. So we don't mind using those swarm cells. So equalized between those 2, left 1 or 2 swarm cells in it. And we're just going to let these run. We put honey or queen excluders on it because these units should make quite a bit of honey over the next few weeks because they have no brood to feed and a lot of foragers. Yeah, and then we also moved it from its original place, which was here. I don't want to leave a colony here because all the foragers from that colony are going to come here. So instead we moved both of them, and it should cause the foragers to equalize between this box and this box rather than all coming back here.
And that box is going to get a super here.
And this one's getting super shortly anyway. So we'll see. I don't know if it's quite best. We could have also just split it a bunch of different ways, but I'm trying to maximize my honey production, and I think this will do that since we're so close to the honey flow. Alright, just starting to unload now.
A little bit of an issue with drifting underneath.
Yeah,
I'm not too worried about it.
That's why we had so many bees getting out. But yeah, they're not drifting the whole way over. This is tight here. But no, this is pretty easy to then just pick these up and move them. Sure beats picking up entire deeps.
And I'll put this one backwards, that way the feed frame is on the outside edge.
So far I think we really like these things. We'll see, it does take up quite a bit of space, but we could stack these too high if we wanted to. We'll see. We'll keep learning and reporting back as we learn more.
He's in that box too. Wrap up at the end of the day. We had to run around and come back here with more equipment. But this yard here with the weaker nukes is anomalous. I'm not sure what it is, if there's just a local environmental thing. It was colder here, there's less forage, whatever it is. The nukes here are significantly, the overwintered nukes that we put into deeps are significantly weaker here than at our other yards. At our other yards, the average is 18 to 20 frames. It's they're full.
They're awesome.
They look great.
They're ready for a flow.
These are lagging behind by a little bit for some reason. I don't know why, but I still think we're going to get a honey crop off of these. The weaker ones that we put down into singles. It's unfortunate, but it's just what we had to do to help these bees along.